What up, y'all? Back again. I just wanted to go over this era in the 1800s. What you'll find is there was nothing but orphans, orphanages, and insane asylums. Now, the narrative is kind of along the lines of people gave their kids up, they couldn't take care of them, or it was to the point where there was plagues and stuff that the parents had died. Nevertheless, you have to question the narrative because when you look at the buildings and you look at the ample amount of children that you are seeing, and this is just the beginning. I could do this for days. These buildings, look at the buildings. I know they look kind of creepy, but we've been taught to think of them that way. But they're in their original state were glorious buildings. You just wouldn't build buildings like this for orphanages. And what you'll find is sometimes these orphanages would be out in the middle of nowhere where there's no populations of people. And, I postulate to you that these were castles of old, and they were really glorious in their original state, and they took a lot of time to build. Like, they are very difficult probably for us to build them like that today. I know we can build some of these, but these structures are, in their original state were pretty glorious. And I think part of the narrative here is that they put this creepy gothic sense behind them so that we would be afraid of them. And when we see them, we think of ghost stories, and that's what they were used for once they were cleared out. But I postulate to you that for this to be happening all over the earth in the 1800s, the mid 1800s, the early 1800s, all the way up until 1903 or so, these were all over the place. Nothing but children, just a few adults, and everybody dressing the same. They're really gothic, bland looking. What you'll find is the adults are even looking pilgrimy and very stoic. You'll find they're very stoic. They had orphan trains in America just to send orphans from the east to the west coast. And if you could find some orphans that you wanted to keep, you could keep them. I mean, really odd. And there was children doing all these adult jobs because I'll tell you this, they didn't have enough. There was no adults. We were reset. That's what I postulate to you. We were reset, like I said, around 1800, 1812. Is what you'll find in these photos around 1830s. There's still empty cities, no people. So the populations didn't start pouring into these cities, probably one corridor after another until probably the 1860s. And then they started ramping everything back up. But this is a continuum from the mud flood. And, it makes you speculate and think in the Bible it would talk about the rest of the dead and then comes back after the millennial kingdom during the short season. And what we find here is there's some oddball stuff going on, and it's unexplainable. I mean, you're talking about 30,000 at a clip coming out of Russia and coming out of England, coming out of Sweden, Italy, Sicily, in America, orphan trains. They had 2,000 carnivals. In 1900, they all burned down. 2,000 carnivals, supposedly, in America. We were just starting to, cultivate America around then. We had 2,000 of them with orphans or babies in they called them live babies in incubators. And some doctor created them, the incubator, but he was a fake doctor. And they started out incubators and carnivals. And you could just find a way to buy children, weird stuff that doesn't really add up. you'll find just a few adults and nothing but children. And I speculate that for the infrastructure to get going, there was only children here, so they had to start working them. And that's why you'll find in these old movies, they'll even portray that. Children doing adult jobs. It's kind of like The Lie and the Truth, or The Truth and the Lie. They got the little kid smoking a cigar. I think we used to see, or you'd see them delivering the mail or something. It's just really odd. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense that we went from that to where we are today. And these buildings, you can go on for days with. They were very. They would take long, laborious hours to build those types of buildings. They're castles. You'll see them in jails as well. They're out in the middle of nowhere. Even today, prisons, a lot of these old prisons, they were something else. They were repurposed, is my point. And in their glorious state, they weren't creepy. They were made to become creepy, and with these fake backdrop stories behind them. And like I said, they were founded by the founders, and they were free for the Freemasons. And the infrastructure was a combination of the church got it for free, and these countries, governments, and rich oligarchs that were, in my humble opinion, the enemy's top-tier picks, which could be, God knows, fallen angels in human form. We don't know. But when you look at these, that's like a castle. You see that? Would you build something like that for orphans? I don't even know if we could build that today. And then you look at the windows, they're going into the ground in most of these, or they're top heavy because they probably sunk a whole floor. Just real old, weird stuff these are mud flooders, we call them, related to the mud flood at the end of the kingdom, beginning of the reset. You tell me in the comments. It's very odd that they be shipping them all over the earth in the middle of 1830s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Now we have none of them. We have none. There's very few of these types of things. And we have tons of population. The population's through the roof, supposedly. Look at that thing. It's glorious. We couldn't build that today. That was an orphanage in the 1800s. How did you build that with hammers and chisels and mules? Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share. Love y'all. Peace.